Alright, on my channel, we get straight to the content. Now, first and foremost, I want to start this video by saying RIP to the young lady, Ashlee Jenae, right? So, I don't know if you're familiar with my other content. I kind of been falling back on the Joe Budden's podcast, like watching it. It's crazy because my favorite podcast, Joe Rogan, Joe Budden's, it's a lot of like nonsense now. Joe Rogan is way gone. Joe Budden's is getting there. Let me tell you why, right? So if y'all not familiar with the story of Ashlee Jenae, young lady, black woman, she was on a vacation with her husband. Now her husband is a white guy, right? Now, if you're familiar with my other content, I say love who you want to love, date who you want to date. I have been in interracial relationships. One of my kids is mixed, so like I'm for like interracial dating, like, cause love, like, if you love somebody, you love them. It is what it is, right? And if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. It's called preference, right? So I'm watching the Joe Budden's podcast, and I find out that he's familiar with the young lady, Ashlee Jenae. And a couple of the other people in there are familiar with Ashlee Jenae. You know what I mean? So he starts telling stories, like personal stories, right? So it's like, yeah, right? Like, all right, that's sad, like, for real. Because even if he didn't know her, that's still a crazy story that got to be investigated to the highest. Because I don't know. It seems weird to me. I ain't going to say nothing crazy. It seems weird, though, right? But you know what's crazy? So Joe Budden and Mark Lamont Hill and Flip, it's always these three, they start talking about the public backlash that this young lady, Ashlee Jenae, has been getting for her dating preference. Now, I'm not going to speak about it in depth, but a lot of black men have been saying, hey, like, you thought the grass was green on the other side, you got in this play, right? I'm not trying to get into the toxic ideology of it, because at the end of the day, we also seen this from black women when Kevin Samuels passed away. When Kevin Samuels passed away, allegedly he was with like a white nurse, and a lot of the women was glorifying, oh, see, you try to get black men to do this, that, and this, and view black women a certain way. And that actually wasn't Kevin Samuels' message. I'm not going to get into that. But so now you're seeing it on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? So Joe Budden and Mark Lamont Hill and Flip go into saying how, like, yeah, narratives online are disgusting, and they don't like it. They only don't like it because they're familiar with the person. Joe Budden, Mark Lamont Hill, and Flip, all they do is engage in that type of banter. Exhibit A. How long do we have to hear Ish get made fun of or teased because he's in a relationship with a white woman and not a black woman, right? That's always going to blow my mind. Remember, Ashlee Jenae is receiving some backlash from men online for interracial dating. Joe Budden goes to condemn that. The whole time, all they do is tease and like joke about Ish and his relationship. Flip has some nerve because he's not even with a black woman. He's with like a Caribbean woman. And I'm not trying to get super FBA, and then Joe Budden's, okay, you with a black John now. You've been running around with Hispanic Johns your whole career, Dominican Johns your whole career. They not FBA. Mark Lamont Hill got a kid, and I said this 100 times, that don't even speak English yet. And she's not FBA. But they coming at Ish, and it's like, okay, you coming at Ish, and maybe because the situation is personal, so I gotta like give them some grace. They don't want to get into the public banter. But anytime it has to do with a black man dating outside his race, and you got to look at the statistics, like as a black man, yeah, a lot of women outside of the black race want us. Like, it is what it is. I think it's like black men and like Asian women or something like that, some weird statistic or whatever. So you got these guys, yeah. See, I can speak about this because I always say love who you want to love, date who you want to date. As soon as it comes to Ish or any black athlete or any black entertainer, he did it with Michael B. Jordan. Dating white women. They run with this narrative. Now, it's this lady, Ashlee Jenae, and she has and They got a narrative about her too, and I'm not familiar with her. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. This is about the hypocrisy that Joe Budden Podcast has become. It's just a bunch of dudes giving ideologies and condemning black men every episode. I remember the one episode they was talking about Pooh Shiesty, right? And, you know, I'm not getting into the Pooh Shiesty situation, but they was like joking. And I know it was a joke. I get it was a joke, guys. They joking about the names of the people. Yo, when Mark Lamont Hill started talking about the Middle East and Palestine, free Palestine, Hill said a name like he's sneezing. And he ain't laughing at that name. But then you get these black names and it's easy to make fun of, but we not making fun of Shamik Singh. It's crazy, bro. That's what the Joe Budden Podcast has become. They just cater and pander to everybody but black men, bro. They didn't touch on that. Mark Lamont Hill even said that, oh, he didn't understand why they doing it. They do it with black people. They do it with black men all the time, bro. Like I said, it's hard for me to watch the Joe Budden Podcast because they're just hypocrites the whole time. I'm still waiting for somebody to hold Flip accountable for how he disrespects foundational black Americans while posing as one, while still claiming all this Caribbean stuff, and none of his Caribbean stuff pop like that. So all he do is just another leech on the culture. I'll be back with another video. Like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. I haven't been recording as much as I can because I've been on TikTok trying to grow that. But I'm going to holler at you on the next video.